All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. You guys are doing good. Hold on. Let me get this up. Yeah, so markets are kind of digesting shutdown risks. Nasdaq and other stuff is mostly green today. You can see Nvidia that closed at 178. It's at 179.50. Amazon is green. Gold is up to all-time highs. Gold broke all-time highs this morning again. It's at 38.53s right now for gold, pushing up to all-time highs. Well, I guess my monitor's being weird today. Hold on, where's my other tariff? Yeah, that works. But yeah, so I think the deadline for the government shutdown is tomorrow. And I hope they get a deal done, but you never know. The U.S. government is close to running out of funding. A shutdown could begin if Congress doesn't pass a stopgap measure by tomorrow night. Tuesday night is when the deadline is. Get a stopgap measure by tomorrow. What's up, Brad, D, Farmer, Pawn, Cato, Brian, everybody else? What's up? All right, let's do a poll. Yeah, so market watchers are worried that a shutdown could delay big economic data releases. Like non-farm payrolls is supposed to release on Friday. And if the shutdown happens, it's not going to come out. You know, we're not going to get that released. You know, a lot of people are saying that could delay the Fed's critical decision making and ultimately cause problems. Dollar is weak this morning. Gold is up to all-time highs again. Dollar index at 98. Not the biggest red day for it. So if a federal government shutdown happens, the monthly jobs report would not be released. The Bureau of Labor Statistics are funded by appropriations, and during the shutdown, they must furlough most staff and suspend non-essential activities, which would include major economic reports like jobs, CPI, PPI, retail sales get delayed until funding resumes. There's other news happening today. I think CoreWeave had some news. Intel is down 1 to 2% after talks of Apple TSM news. Lam Research up after a Deutsche upgrade. Nvidia is up again this morning. Take a look at it. It's at almost 180s. Gold is up though. That's probably what I'll try to trade today is gold. Starts August 1st. They aren't even in session, so I guess it'll be shut down. Up a reef. Yeah, let me check Discord. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Yeah, this pharmacy company on bad trial results is what it is. MLTX, look at this drop. $60. This is why I don't mess with biotech companies. People always ask me about biotech companies and you know, I just don't trust them. I really just don't trust them. MLTX announced week 16 results from phase 3 trials. I don't really understand what they saw they didn't like in this news. So I see both VLA 1 and VLA 2 achieve significant statistical significance for all key secondary endpoints. But look how dropped this thing is, man. This thing fell very big. You think achieving 300% returns in 2 years considered luck? I mean, I think it depends person and what it depends. I think the last few years it's been really easy to make money. A lot of stuff is up ridiculous, and so I don't necessarily think it equates to skill either, because I think if you get into one good investment, one good swing trade, you can make 300%, especially in the last few years. And so it doesn't necessarily equate to skill either. It could be, it might be skill, but it could also just be getting lucky buying up some of these crazy runners the last few years. The market's been on a tear. So, yeah, again, I'm trying to figure out what the bad news was for MLNX. They claim both trials achieve significant endpoints for all key secondary endpoints, including lesion counts, PROs, pain reduction. Mixed or ambiguous primary endpoint performance. Probably why. Uncertainty. Well, you can have multiple trades and that's good, but again, everybody's different, man. Everybody's different. Maybe a skill it could also be luck. It just depends on the person and what happened. Like multiple trades doesn't mean too much, you know, because if it's just one or two trades, again, it's very easy to get lucky, you know. And I think, and again, I'm not saying that's you or whoever the results are. What I'm saying is that the big boys need like consistent long-term, you know, thousands of transactions, see if what their edge is. And maybe that's you, maybe it's not. I really don't know. Yeah, smaller accounts is really easy to, you know, take $500, $1,000, make 300%. You know, if you lose, you just start over. So again, it's just taking the stats out of context. It's not really, it doesn't really mean much yet. You know, I'm not saying, and again, it shouldn't matter either way. If you got the skill, you got the skill. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying how people critical of it are gonna look at it. You know? All right, guys. So, a month after Maris agrees to be bought at 41% premium, BMAB MRUS buying Maris. Morgan Stanley expects Novo Alzheimer's trial to fail as it slashes its rating. Assuming NVO is down this morning. Yeah, NVO is down. Google stock is up. One of the AI stocks every investor should watch. According to Yahoo Finance, Cantor Fitzgerald analyst Deepak Mathavanan reiterated a neutral rating and 201 price target on the stock. The rating follows their recent strategic launches. So Google up to 49s. Nasdaq coming back down though. CoreWeave, one of the AI stocks people are paying attention to. Melius analyst Ben writes are upgraded from hold to buy with price target of 165. CoreWeave's flown up, man. That's a big move for CoreWeave as well. CoreWeave's an AI stock, really. We had Electronic Arts slipped 0.5% after a sharp jump on Friday on buyout rumors. Yeah, I heard EA was potentially getting bought out. I can't remember by who. Can't remember. I read about this, but I can't remember who the buyout from. It was a take private deal worth $50 billion, backed by Silver Lake, Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, and Affinity Partners. Yes, they were going to take it private. Yeah, it's a scammer. Ray. Probably. Yeah, that's what I mean. PPA. I mean, it all depends. It really all depends. Yeah, government shutdown news is the stuff that's got everybody scary. And the speculation is that economic data is not going to drop. Gold reserves hit 1 trillion in value. We also have, I believe we have a Fed speaker this morning, right? We have, yeah, we got Chris Waller speaking at 7:30 this morning, which is in 1 minute, 5 seconds. We'll see what he says. We got Beth Hammock later, pinning home sales. Bostic speaking later. Tomorrow we have Joel's job report, the government shutdown news, CB consumer confidence, Chicago PMI, Case-Shiller house price index. Wednesday we got ADP non-farm employment, prelim payroll numbers, ISM manufacturing data. And then Friday we have NFP labor report. Yeah, let's do a poll here. Do they get a deal done and avoid a government shutdown? All right, so that's the poll today. Every year this happens. They typically get a deal. All right, so Waller is speaking right now. He does not comment on economic outlook and monetary policy in prepared remarks. So Waller didn't say anything about economics today, but the poll is now live. I'm assuming they're going to get a deal done. I don't think they're going to not get a deal done. It's just kind of like everybody's like, oh, it's the government shutdown. And then they're like, okay, we got a deal done anyway. This happened last year. I remember it distinctly. Happened last year. Yeah, Waller said stablecoins with regulation protections add payment options. Alright. Barclays says, on possible government shutdown, Barclays says, rates markets may see shutdown as tilting Fed policy towards easing. He said there's a high chance, they said there's a high chance of the October 1st shutdown. Likely greater than or equal to 5 days, could last longer. Each week cuts GDP growth 0.1 percentage point, usually recovered later. And that key jobs data like the jobs report, CPI, retail sales would be delayed. OMB memo allows termination, not just furlough of non-essential staff, which would equal a bigger economic hit and limited Q4 GDP impact, but employment data might be distorted. So, for somebody that covers all this economic data, especially this week's Friday report, I hope they get a deal done. Nasdaq's falling down too. Gold again taking advantage of this fear, pumping up to all-time highs at 38.53 this morning. Nvidia's doing well too, though. Look at Nvidia up here. Nvidia up to almost 180s right now. So all right, since 1976, there's been 20 funding gaps, shutdowns, basically, often over weekends most of the time. Real true shutdowns where federal agencies closed and data releases halted have happened 5 times in modern era. They happened in 95 and 96 for 21 days. They happened in 2013 for 16 days. They happened in 2018 and 2019 for 35 days, which was the longest ever. And there's been other shutdowns, but that were much shorter than this and only lasted a few days. Most shutdowns do happen when brinkmanship escalates this far. Congress often misses the deadline and allows a shutdown and then cuts a deal days or weeks later. But if Congress is still delayed, deadlocked, days before this deadline, then the probability of a shutdown is actually pretty high, at like 70 to 80% once it reaches this stage of the stalemate. However, the median duration is short. Most of them don't last longer than 2 weeks. Yeah, so they're saying odds of a shutdown are about 70-80% actually. 70-80% chance it begins without a deal. There's only about a 20% chance it lags longer than 2 weeks. Yeah, they basically said the Fed flies blind without data during these shutdowns. Yeah, look at gold. Gold just broke all-time highs again. Got up to 38.55.40 right now. Gold is right below me right here. This is gold. And it's moving right now, man. It's doing things. It's up, breaking highs. Bitcoin's kind of high today. I mean, it's up. It's not down this morning, which is good. Yeah, so essentially people say there's about a 70-75% chance of some shutdown started giving the current deadlock. Much lower chance of a long multi-week shutdown though. Markets are pricing in short-term disruption and data blackout. And again, just to clarify, like, if we get a government shutdown, we're not getting the data on Friday. You know, we're not gonna get the non-farm payroll reports. Although I do think they already do the non-farm payroll reports. Like, they probably already have the data. I don't know. I'll have to look. But we had the University of Michigan. Regardless, we're gonna have the JOLTS report tomorrow. The JOLTS job report drops tomorrow, 10 a.m. That'll be relevant. Yeah, let's take a look at yields this morning. Yields are actually down a little bit relative to where they were on Monday. If you take a look at 10-year treasuries. Here's 10-year treasury yields. Yields are down to 4.15%. You can see here's where they were on Friday. 4.17. They're back down to 4.15%. If we take a look at rate odds, these have been moving here. Looking at the Fed watch tool here, still we got about a 90% chance of a rate cut next month. About 90%, 89% to 11%. So it's about a 89 to 11 odds of a 25 basis point cut. Here would be a pause. Again, we got about an 11% chance of that. So still pretty likely we're going to cut rates next meeting in October. But again, we'll see what happens with this government shutdown news. You know, the funding deadline, federal funding expires at 11:59 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. tomorrow night. That's the end of the fiscal year. Tuesday, September 30th, 11:59 p.m. tomorrow night. If we do not get a deal done by then, the government officially shuts down at 12:01, Wednesday, October 1st. We're gonna have headlines all day today, or all day tomorrow, about different last-minute efforts. But futures and bonds will start pricing it in immediately. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Yo, what's up, Ryan? All right, guys, look at the NASDAQ break here. NASDAQ breaking down. Yeah, it was the longest ever, Ryan, actually, the last one. See if it follows through. Yeah, so basically, if we do not get the labor report this Friday, if the labor report does not come out this Friday because of the government shutdown, the way it's going to work is that they'll halt the stuff during the shutdown. They wait until the shutdown ends, and once funding is restored, the BLS resumes operations. The jobs report that, if we miss it on Friday, would then come out the first Friday after they resume, after about 2 to 3 days. Right? So realistically, it would come out depending on when they get the deal done. Hopefully it's not too long. Again, in 2013, it was 16 days. The October jobs report in 2013, that was due August 4th, was delayed and released on August 22nd. 2018, 2019, when everything was shut down for 35 days, the January jobs report scheduled for February 1st was released on February 1st as planned, but the shutdown ended January 25th, giving a week to prep it. So it all depends on when the shutdown happens, but yeah. This one's interesting because we got the labor report supposed to drop on Friday. It's supposed to come out on Friday. Yeah, gold flying up. That's probably what I'll try to trade gold today. We'll see. So Apple at Jefferies. Jefferies thinks that Apple iPhone 17 momentum is cooling. Strong initial sales, but delivery led times falling, signaling weaker demand. U.S. weakest market according to them. Zero-day lead time versus double-digit days in other tracked regions. 17 Pro Max lead time 4 days shorter than last year. In China, it was better than expected, but momentum is slowing, and they maintain a hold on Apple because of this. Regarding the iPhone 17, Apple slightly red today. It's been flat since Thursday. Jim Cramer telling people to buy crypto. Benchmark reiterated a buy on Tesla, price target 475. Third quarter 25 preview says that Tesla reports Thursday. Benchmark models said, okay, so Tesla delivery numbers are actually supposed to drop on Thursday this week. Thursday this week, we get Tesla delivery numbers that are supposed to drop at 9 o'clock in the morning. They think Tesla benchmark models is going to hit 442,000 deliveries versus the consensus of 448. Some estimates are around the mid 460s. Strong rebound from second quarter's 384. But yeah, they maintained a buy rating on Tesla. Look at gold, still ripping up here, guys. 38.58 right now, gold. Looking at our poll, we got 55% think that we're going to get a deal done. 45% think we're going to shut down. And again, I think the odds of a shutdown are a little bit higher. Generally, I hope they get a deal done. Again, for somebody that covers all the economic data, I hope they get a deal done because I want to cover the economic data on Friday, you know. And I think it's a bad precedent to set right now. I think when the economy starts to turn, we should try to get a deal done. How's the weather been at you guys' place, man? I walked outside yesterday and it was kind of cool in the morning. Felt good, dude. I'm ready for the fall season. I'm ready. I'm gonna go pick out a pumpkin, you know? And I'm ready. Ready. I got my sweater on today. They said technically it's fall now, so you know, fall is really nice, but once you hit like January, it's not fun. Kentucky is beautiful. Nice. Vegas is great. Yeah, October. Yeah, I know how BR is, Jamie. I remember Baton Rouge. It's hot. I'm in Houston, so I mean it's not much better over here. But it was kind of cool. This weekend, you know, the mornings were nice. By the time noon hits, it's still pretty warm, but it wasn't as bad. It was like 83 degrees, which is pretty mild. Yeah, no big hurricane so far. You think we're gonna get a red October? Do you guys think October will be red or green? Let me know in chat right now. Red or green? I don't know, man. I don't know yet. First day of October is Wednesday. See if the shutdown happens. I think that's gonna influence things, of course, short term. Baseball. The Astros did not make the playoffs. I don't want to hear baseball right now. They had one of the longest postseason streaks, though. So it had to end eventually, but I'm still kind of mad about it. Yeah, so all right, guys, Tesla at 443, gold pulling back a little bit. Is it time to buy gold some? Might wait, but I'd root for the Blue Jays. Yeah. Are they in the playoffs? I haven't been tracking them. Hold on. With Vladdy, I like the Blue Jays. They've got Bichette and Vlad. You know. Oh yeah, they're good this year, dude. Wait. They got Scherzer. They've got George Springer. He was an Astro guy. Do they have Bichette anymore? LSU lost. I'm not really happy about that either. Alright, guys. Should I buy this dip in gold right now? Also, somebody's asking, why is the government shutting down? So funding runs out September 30th. The fiscal year ends September 30th for the government. Congress has to either, they have to pass new spending bills or a stopgap continuing resolution to keep funding flowing. If they don't, agencies legally can't spend money until they shut down. Congress and the White House right now, in this specific incident, are yeah. Yeah, that's not a bad idea, Pawn. But yeah, so this instance of the government shutdown, like this specific instance, I should have bought the dip in gold. Congress and the White House are clashing over spending cuts plus policy riders attached to the budget. So some of the big sticking points in this disagreement are from spending cuts and staffing reductions that the current administration wants across federal agencies, as well as like the tariff policy. 100% on some drugs, 25% on trucks, 50% on furniture are kind of the politically controversial ones that they're negotiating about. There's immigration and border enforcement funding disputes and agency oversight and regulatory rollback issues that some lawmakers are demanding be tied to the funding bill. Neither side wants to give in, so leadership is letting it go down to the wire. And in modern history, shutdowns are usually less about money, which is negotiable, and more about policy leverage. Each side tries to use the shutdown threat to kind of force what they want, force concessions on the other side. Nvidia ripping up a little bit, almost to 180s right now for Nvidia. Gold bouncing back up too. Here's Nvidia. Nvidia testing the highs of the day here. I think it's highs. Yeah, it's highs of the day. Got up to 180 just now for Nvidia. Tapped it. Current administration is openly planning for mass federal staff cuts if a shutdown occurs, instead of just treating it as a temporary furlough. It's kind of making the negotiation process a little bit harder. Yeah, basically, investors are worried about the shutdown because of the jobs report getting pushed back, though. So if it's a long shutdown, we could see a lot of stuff. Like CPI usually drops in 2 weeks, exactly 2 weeks from now, right? So if the shutdown lasts, if we get shut down, CPI is going to get pushed back. Inflation data is getting pushed back. The labor jobs report is going to get pushed back this Friday. And so that's what people are worried about right now. Like, that's the big news. Faye, Pew, Ryan, E. Marco, Yankees. I think the market's going to react fearfully. I think it's going to show fear in a lot of markets if we do get shut down. So. This up on the screen so people see it. Look at Nvidia flying up though. Nvidia up to almost 180.20. 180.20. So Nasdaq sitting right at the 200 exponent. Gold still elevated. Yeah, but I think in this instance the shutdown's a little bit higher. All right, Nvidia pulling back gold. Let's see if gold breaks all-time highs again. Electronics Arts. EA is said to be near buyout deal at 210 a share, private deal. So they're thinking about taking Electronic Arts private at a buyout deal at 210 a share, according to Bloomberg. Yeah, so with only 1 day left until the deadline. The deadline is tomorrow at 12 or at 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. Again, the deadline for the shutdown is tomorrow, 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. If we hit that and no funding bill or stopgap even scheduled for a vote yet, the odds of them pulling a deal together in time are pretty slim. In past shutdowns, when lawmakers wait until the final 24 to 48 hours, the government has a higher percentage chance of slipping into at least a short shutdown. Or compromise is hammered out. Markets assume that if leadership really had the votes, they'd be holding a vote today. And so not that a deal won't happen, it's that the timing of this current deal what makes a gap unavoidable. So analysts expect the government to be shut down at 12:01 p.m. Wednesday. Even if a resolution comes days later, it's still going to push back the labor report. Probably. See what futures and bonds do. And the bond market might care about it. I think this one's a little bit different though, right? Like you have to understand, this one's in the context of the labor report that we're supposed to get on the 3rd, on Friday this week. Friday this week, we're supposed to get a labor report, right? If the shutdown happens, we ain't getting that report. That report's not happening. Even if we shut down Wednesday and resume Thursday, we're still not getting that labor report. You know, they're still going to push it back to next Friday, probably. And again, next week's kind of boring. So, we'll see what happens. I think we're also going to miss the Fed minutes report next Wednesday. And then the week after that, we're supposed to get CPI inflation. Week of October 13th, or I think we're supposed to get CPI inflation. So, you using Bloomberg Terminal? No, I don't use Bloomberg. Like 30 grand a year. That. There's better free options out there. I guess if I did play for it, I could write it off. But again, I like Bloomberg. I like Market Watch. I like Trading Economics. I like, there's a bunch of free resources. Realistically, what I have incredibly fast internet. I have like 1500 megabits per second internet. And so when news comes out, you know, it's a little bit more real time. We don't really have any reports today. Not any major ones. The big story is the shutdown news. Looming. Novartis initiates a tender offer to buy all shares of Tourmaline at $48 per cash. Or per share of cash. And again, EA said to be near a buyout deal at $2.10 a share. I don't like EA, bro. $2.10 a share, so it's kind of going up there. I don't really like EA as a company. Or like the old UFC games used to be really fun, right? What was it? It was like UFC Undisputed 3, best MMA game in the world they ever made. And then EA stepped in and started doing their own version. It's just not as good. I still play it, but it's just not quite as good. The old ones. A lot of pay to win stuff. I don't know. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, so looking at the VIX here, VIX is low. I mean, the NASDAQ, if we take a look at it this morning, chat, is slightly green on the day. And so when the NASDAQ is green, the VIX is going to be down because the VIX goes up when markets drop. And gold is elevated. Look at gold. Gold broke all-time highs again, 38.60s. I should have bought this dip this morning. Right, if the government shut down, so we don't get the labor report Friday. We don't get jobless claims Thursday. We don't get anything next week. You know, we don't get the Fed minutes report next week. It's kind of a big day. Again, the shutdown news is it's going to be tomorrow, 11:59 p.m. All right, guys. Market will be boring. Playing WoW while I listen. I never got into WoW. Ironically, my favorite game was Ocarina of Time, you know, which was, I'm not gonna say it's like WoW, but my favorite game ever, all time. But I was really more Halo. I played Halo with my son yesterday. I do play some Halo. It's been a while, but I do play that with my son. I don't have the time to invest into WoW. So. But yeah, so again, EA about to get bought out at about $210 a share, probably taken private at $210 a share. It's up. Nasdaq's green on the day. The E-mini is very green on the day as well, up to 67.20s. Gold broke all-time highs today. If we take a look at the Dixie, dollar index is down. Look at this big reaction over the last 5 minutes in the Dixie here. Last 5 to 10 minutes on the dollar index. So the dollar index is down, gold is up, Nasdaq's higher, Nvidia is higher. Bitcoin is up today after pulling back a little bit the last few. He does. He plays everything. He plays Roblox, Fortnite. He plays Halo with me. He was surprisingly good at Halo, though. I played with him yesterday. He didn't do bad. Yeah, we got the 8 a.m. scrum. There's 8 a.m. right now. If the market moves, gold still elevated. See if we get anything. Again, the big story of the day, I think, is the government shutdown looming. If we don't get a deal done by tomorrow at 12:59 p.m. Eastern time, government gets shut down. Labor report gets pushed back. Fed minutes next week might get pushed back. If it lasts longer than a week or two, CPI report might get pushed back, right? And that's heading into the October Fed meeting. The October Fed meeting is going to be October 29th. And so essentially, they're not going to have the data they need if it gets pushed back too much to make their decisions. But a lot of people are fearful of gold finally pulling back a little bit. But that's kind of the news driving everybody. Michael Saylor bought 196 Bitcoin worth about 22 million. So again, Michael Saylor, very small amount of Bitcoin for him, 22 million worth of Bitcoin. Jim Cramer says, buy crypto. Oh no. What has he done? Gold finally pulling back. Going private gonna make EA games better or worse? Probably worse, but it could also make them better. Like, it depends on which way things flow. Yeah. Yeah, Jim Cramer said buy crypto. I posted this. Give me a follow at Beginner Trades. I appreciate it. Give me a follow at Beginner Trades. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Looking at our poll, 59% think we're going to get a deal done. I hope we do, honestly. Again, for somebody that covers all the economic reports, I hope they do. But I think it's pretty, I don't know. So technically, Congress can still act. Leadership could rush a short-term continuing resolution through both chambers in a single day if there's broad agreement. But no vote is on the floor yet, means there's no deal in hand. Means a shutdown is very likely. Even tiny delays like filibusters, failed votes, and negotiations up the last few hours. NASDAQ coming down a little bit. President endorsed. Did he really? Tilray is up. It's up to 130s. Good for Tilray. It's not like I'm rooting against Tilray. I'm really not. Like, I want cannabis. Like, I'm a big believer in legalizing cannabis. I think it's wasting tax dollars, locking people up for it. And I think if it's legal in half the country, and like, we're just wasting tax dollars at this point in time. And like, yeah, you could hit us with the, we shouldn't legalize another drug on the streets. But the reality of it is, it's objectively less harmful than drugs that are already out there, and you gotta have an even standard. But I'm just not confident that it's gonna happen. GameStop? Where's GameStop at? I'm ready for the holiday season. I really am. I'm excited. I like it when the weather gets cold. Decriminalize or legalize? Legalize it. And again, it's not like I use cannabis. Like, I really don't. But like, in the end, it should be legalized just because keeping it illegal is causing more problems than it's worth. Like, they're getting mad at all these Delta variants and all this stuff on the streets. And you know, the reason that's there is because they're trying to get around prohibition of it, right? Legalize it, regulate it. Regulating it will be a healthier option. People are going to consume it regardless, but legalize it, regulate it. No, I was again. I have nothing morally against it. I really don't. But it's not. I'm too anxious and paranoid to do that. You know. As a person, just generally. And so I just don't do it. I'm not morally against it though. You know, do what you want to do. But all right, gold at 38.54s right now. Gold at 38.50. Looks like a good pullback. I'm a little nervous about the pullback, but I might try a little piece here. We'll see. Yeah, so gold is up here, and again, it looks like a dip. We'll see what the market does. The market's kind of undecided. S&P up. GameStop's up a little bit, but GameStop's been in this range from between 20 and 30, which is a big percentage range, but it's been in this range for a long time. Again, Nvidia is one of the stories today. It's back up to 180s highs of the day. Looks good. All right, guys, so we're still looking at news. I mean, news are mostly Paramount Skydance announces long-term media rights agreement with TKO, which is the parent company of the UFC, I think, right? Nasdaq fighting over the 200 exponential. So watch 885s. I'm also kind of paying attention. Looking at this low down here, but I'm also looking at 50 here. Maybe we could look at 55. 80. 885's up there. Nvidia is still rising, dragging everything higher. So the UK Chief Secretary to PM Jones says in the context of Labour potentially deviating from manifesto pledges around tax, the manifesto stands today because it's not been taken yet. Gold price in bond market failure yet? At least a little bit. And Nasdaq's climbing higher. Let's watch 85. I appreciate the $5 donation. Nasdaq up to 885s. Gold's been up because of shutdown fears, tariff announcement, inflation hedging. Like gold's benefiting from a lot of this. U.S. treasuries are still being bought. Shutdown fears actually usually push yields down as a safe haven asset, not up. But I think the uncertainty is making gold go a little bit higher too. So look at this bounce right here, this 80 level. Nasdaq still dipping. Look at that dip. Yeah, so they do. So somebody said, hey, how's the government shutting down? Don't the Repubs have the majority in the House and the Senate? They do, but you need total unity here, or it's not gonna. They need near total support or some dim votes. GOP is still pretty split. Hardliners want deep agency cuts, big tariff enforcement, and policy riders, immigration and regulatory rollbacks. Moderates worry that forcing a shutdown will backfire and hurt markets. Internal division means no single bill has enough votes yet. Where we're at now. Yeah, where's Intel right now? How's the Intel behaving here? Intel down on the day, still sitting around 35, so it's still kind of holding here. All right, Nasdaq's still trying to get up here. Gold's on the, like, right on a pretty big pullback here. All right, Nasdaq's recovering some. Yeah, I'm just looking at gold short term. It's been breaking highs. Nasdaq's trying to rebound here. I think most of this is driven by Nvidia pushing up. Nvidia over 180s now. And it's steady pushing higher this morning. It's dragging a lot of blue chips up. Nasdaq's mostly green, so is the S&P. Long term, I don't know what it's going to do. No idea. Short term, maybe we'll get some interest. Didn't expect such a positive pre-market. Yeah, Nasdaq is up. I assumed the market would be red when I looked at it this morning as well, just based off of the shutdown fear. But market's green. Nvidia's up a lot. Nvidia up from 170s. Here's the E-mini, the S&P E-mini top chart. It's pretty elevated as well. Yeah, I've heard about mushroom coffee. Called something, but unless y'all are talking about the other mushroom. Gold finally on a little dip here. A big red pullback for gold. You guys can watch me risk my challenge account here. Find it. Here it is. See it? Hold on. Just buying the dip in gold in a challenge account. Regular coffee. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Just caffeine. Yeah, that's what I was looking at. I don't know. Coffee's a little bit too strong for me. It kind of messes the rest of my day sometimes. All right, so we're in gold here. There we go. I might take some pieces off here. Just see if I get filled. I get filled, but it would put back pretty quick. Fed's Hammock says elevated services part of inflation is resisting concerns. Apparently Hammock speaking right now. Hammock said need to maintain restrictive policy. Restrictive monetary policy is needed to cool inflation. Inflation is a bigger concern right now than the labor market, according to him. Alright, so we locked in some of this profit here. Took go ahead and take a little bit more off here on these bounces. Yeah, we got 10 micros left here. We got a lot of room now, which is good. I think I'm just gonna let it run. Hey, what's up, B2? Gold and silver. Yeah, they're up a lot. I think I'm in the rest of gold right now. I've already liquidated a lot of it, though. Off in the... That'll give me enough time to hold. Hopefully through this pullback if we get one. Remember, guys, this morning Jim Cramer said to buy Bitcoin. Markets are scared, you know. No, that's not the all-time high on Nvidia. All-time high on Nvidia is I think it's 184.50. 184.55 is the technical all-time high for Nvidia. We're at 180, so we're still about $5 away from all-time highs. Yeah, Kramer. I think Michael Saylor retweeted buy Bitcoin. No. I think Michael Saylor's trying to say no. Alright, so now my position is red here. Do I want to add back the 200 exponential? I think so. I could take a crazy amount of risk here if I want. Right, we took another piece off there. We got out a little bit more. Get out some more right there. There we go. All right, we're back into 10 contracts now. Pretty big position on the day as well. There, we took out a little bit more. Back to 8. Yeah, gold I think makes sense. Again, I'm not telling you to buy anything. I have no idea what you should do. I think gold makes sense, though. Not an investment professional. Understand all this stuff on screen. I can't guarantee anything. Don't copy me. I'd be wildly wrong about anything and everything I say. I'm actually going to liquidate a little bit more right here. Don't sue me. Not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. I want to let it run, but... Let's take one more off here. I'm probably just gonna sit on the red. Yeah, I'll put the NASDAQ up while we're waiting here. Here's the S&P. NASDAQ up to 24,000. Hey, man. All right, dude. Love you, bud. Good day, man. Alright, so we're back down to close to flat here. If we hold. Yeah, I mean, I was wrong. Again, gold, I don't like gold. It depends on where it's at. But gold has been flying. I do assume gold's going to make a pretty big pullback. My guess is after it hits 4,000. But like I always tell people, I have no freaking idea which way gold's going. But yeah, I didn't like gold at 2,000 at all. And I was wildly wrong about it, of course. And that's okay. We're all wrong sometimes. I assume gold's going to hit 4,000 what it wants. Big psychological level, 4K. Pretty close now. Yeah, I mean, we're already up $200. So we got some room here. I think with the shutdown getting close, gold might benefit. Again, this is a combine account, so I can just do whatever I want to this. It doesn't matter. Nike earnings? What are Nike earnings? Nike's up to 70. It doesn't look too bad. Yeah, I'm green on the day total. Green on target as well. Yeah, I think there's a higher chance that we might actually get a government shutdown though this time. I do. I think there's a higher chance. It's based off of tomorrow's the deadline. Tomorrow night's the deadline. It's just less likely that we get it done, that we get a deal done before then. Which means that the labor report this week's probably going to get pushed back. Well, it's tomorrow at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. So the government will officially be shut down at 12:01 p.m. or 12:01 a.m. Wednesday morning. If they don't get a deal done tomorrow. And then that's going to mean effectively that the labor report gets pushed back. You know. I don't know, Franklin. I really don't know, brother. How the market responds to this is... I'm going to be watching bonds and see how they price into things. But yeah. We'll see. Yeah, we did a poll, over 600 votes, 59% think we get a deal done, 41% think we shut down. Yeah, I mean, I get it, man, I get it. Government's the government. Oh, man. Oh, it's Monday, and it's technically fall right now. Again, I asked this morning. It felt good outside over the weekend. It wasn't super hot outside. I think I'm just going to sit in gold. I mean, gold's on a longer term pullback, and I'm okay with just holding through it. The challenge account. I'll leave it up just so you guys can see it. Yeah, see GameStop slightly elevated. 27.10s. See if it holds. I don't think I'm going to add to this, though. I think I'm just going to sit tight. Adding to it usually gets me in trouble, and we're already up 100, so I guess we'll just sit on it. Back, I think. I don't know. You said that last time, Todd. You said gold ran at 10 a.m. And then actually at 10 a.m. last time it fell. The day you said that, I was sitting here watching it at 10 a.m. It was going down at 10. I'm not saying it's you, but it kind of ran up into 10 a.m. and then started falling exactly at 10 a.m. I mean, I don't think it's as consistent. exactly at 10 a.m. I mean, we'll know whether the government's going to get shut down probably towards the end of the day tomorrow. Todd's cool. You know, I'm not mad at anybody. I'm not attacking Todd here. I'm just saying. He said that last time. He's like, gold goes up every day at 10 a.m. And so, curious me, I'm like, okay, let's look at gold at 10 a.m. And it started dropping that day. He said that. And so, it's just, I thought it was funny. It's all good. Yeah, gold's been going up a lot lately. I mean, on a net effect, it's still probably green from whenever it dropped 10 a.m. So it depends on the context and the time frame of where you're looking at it, but yeah, if I remember correctly, I think gold did something like this that day. Like let's say this is 10 a.m. I think gold did something like this. It might have kept going up though. I didn't really pay attention to it for the rest of the day. Yeah, that might be true, Todd. I mean, that's not a terrible, I think. I like gold because the long-term trends are easier to manage. I did have to reset one of my funded accounts last week. I'm not really happy about it, but at least I can reset it. All right, Nvidia is probably the big story of the day, I think. You got some of the Bank of England members speaking here. Let's talk about the government shutting down. I apologize, Todd. Y'all leave Todd alone. I don't know who. Yeah, I'm in here. I'm already like I'm green in realized, red and unrealized here. I think there might be a broader long-term move, but see how gold behaves the rest of the day. I'm just gonna sit in this again. It's a challenge account. Trying to wake up and realize they need Nvidia. Yeah, I think we're gonna shut down probably. According to AI, they have it about 80% likely that we're going to shut down now, just based off of, there's a couple different things going on. But the U.S. government faces a shutdown at midnight tomorrow as Congress remains deadlocked over spending cuts, tariffs, and policy riders. If no deal is struck, Fed agencies will furlough workers, and data releases like Friday's labor report will get pushed back. So, again, somebody's asking why is the government getting shut down. So the federal government fiscal year ends September 30th, tomorrow, 11:59 p.m. Congress must either pass new spending bills or a stopgap continuing resolution to keep funding flowing. They're currently in a deadlock. Congress and the White House are clashing over the size and scope of spending cuts, policy riders attached to the budget. The current administration is pushing big spending cuts and staff reductions across federal agencies. They also have new tariffs, 100% on some drugs, 25% on trucks, 50% on furniture. And so other stuff with immigration and border enforcement. But yeah, neither side wants to give in. Leadership is letting it go down to the wire, which again is 11:59 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. In modern history, shutdowns are usually less about money and more about kind of political leverage, policy leverage. Each side tries to use the shutdown to kind of force what they want, right? Yeah. And so that's what's going on right now. And again, we're going to do a deal. I hope we do a deal. Listen, for somebody that covers all the economic reports here, I hope a deal gets done. Like, I'm here. I hope a deal gets done. Will it get done? I don't know. But I hope it does. I'd rather them get a deal done and keep everything business as usual. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm really not down that much. I'm pretty much flat on this trade, actually, believe it or not. Remember, we took like hundreds in profit prior to this trade, so we actually have a little bit of a cushion. Last minute, they're going to make a deal. I think it's less likely this time, but it's possible. Again, I hope they get a deal done last minute, really. All right, guys, we got about an hour until the opening bell. Yeah, but the fear of this shutdown is that shutting down the government, the last time under the current administration, or under the previous administration, but the current president, it was the longest shutdown in history. I think it was 33 days. And so if that happens, the fear of this is that, this week we're supposed to have the labor report. We got the JOLTS report tomorrow. That's still going to come out regardless. We got the JOLTS job report tomorrow. We got the labor reports scheduled to go out on Friday, which is the biggest catalyst, I would say, every month recently, aside from maybe Fed meetings, is the labor report. It's set for Friday. If the government shuts down, even if it's just for 24, 48 hours, which is probably going to be longer than that. But if the government shuts down, that labor report gets pushed back to next Friday. Right? If the shutdown lasts longer than a few weeks, CPI report might get pushed back. And the argument is that the Fed is not going to have the data they need to guide us during the October FOMC meeting. It's the worry, right? That's what everybody's worried about. That's what the big fear is here. And it's somewhat valid. Somewhat valid. Yeah, I hope they get a deal done. I'd rather again, CPI inflation data is supposed to drop in almost exactly 2 weeks, right? And so if that gets pushed back, that's not good either. We got to see where inflation's at. We got to see where payrolls are at. We got to see about revisions. Now, we still should have enough time. It depends on how long it lasts, guys. If it lasts as long as the previous one, which again, since 1976, there have been 20 funding gaps. Most were short, 1 to 3 days, often over weekends. True shutdowns have happened 5 times in the modern era, in 95 and 96 for 21 days, and 2013 for 16 days. And then the last big one, which was in 2018, 2019, 35 days, the longest ever. If it lasts that long, the argument is that the Fed's going to be blind in terms of the data. Yeah, but the economic data is going to be delayed. That's what. And again, this is a challenge account, so this is not real big risks. Clarify, we're just kind of sitting in this and go. I already took some profit on the green side, so we had a cushion, and now we're red on this. I don't know what I'm going to do. We still got a lot of room. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I don't know. White House says they're close to a Gaza deal now. Reported. CSX announces leadership transition. Steve Angel named as president and CEO effective September 28th, which was yesterday. I got a little rebound in gold. I'm trying to give it some time. What will happen if there's a shutdown? What'll happen is that we're not going to get the data on Friday. Is the big consequence from it. We're not going to get the data on Friday. It'll be pushed to next Friday, assuming they get a deal done by early next week. If that still doesn't happen, it'll get pushed for a couple weeks. And if that happens, then it's reasonable to conclude that by October 29th, which is when the next FOMC meeting is. October 29th. It's gonna be Wednesday, October 29th. If that happens, then they say the Fed's gonna be unknown about what's going on in the payroll market and this inflation market. So we're back to pretty much flat here on this position, which is good. Because remember, like, the FOMC would still meet even if there is a shutdown. Yeah, I think gold, you have to hold it a little bit longer. I'm not telling you to buy gold. I have no idea what you should do. Gold's been breaking all-time highs this morning. A big pullback I don't hate. But I think gold, you got to be a little bit more patient. Gold has a little bit less liquidity than like the NASDAQ, I would say. Maybe a little bit more. But spread's a little bit larger. And so I think you got to just wait for it. Bitcoin best quarter about to start. I don't know. Jim Cramer said to buy Bitcoin early this morning. What's the poll about? The poll is about the government shutdown news. That's supposed to happen tomorrow at 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. If you haven't already, again, check out Top Step. We're on Top Step today, day trading the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell, gold. We're in gold right now. You can day trade gold directly on Top Step. In the NASDAQ and the S&P, very similar to day trading stocks. Get you around the PDT rule. There's no PDT in futures, so you can day trade equity. Top Step gives you a 50K demo. Test your skill with it. You pass the test, they plunge you 50K, 90% split. You fail, you lose $50, so it's the best of both worlds. It's limited risk at $50. If you pass it, you get a 90% split, similar to funding your own account. You get to keep your first 10K in profit as well. It's the best of both worlds. They pay out millions, fund thousands. You can also now reset your funded account with their back to funded option, which is really useful. And that's just a great way to learn how to trade with some risk at $50 a month or $100 a month, whichever one you choose. But it's not the full extent of risking thousands like most new traders end up losing. But again, they're a sponsor of mine. I am biased. You want to confirm it all with them. I can't guarantee anything. Understand all this stuff on screen. Not an investment professional, not liable. If you lose, make your own assessment. Pretty smart. I'll pin it to the top of the chat if you want to check it out. I appreciate the love. Thanks so much. It's November. The update is in November. It's fall back. I think it's like November 6th, if I remember correctly. When does daylight savings time happen? I think it's November 2nd. We gain an hour on November 2nd. The decision for a shutdown is going to be going on all day tomorrow. Basically, the government will officially be shut down as of 12:01 p.m. or 12:01 a.m. Eastern time, Wednesday morning. So basically, at midnight tomorrow is when it's effective. Yeah, I'm just sitting here. Again, we're watching markets. Nvidia is at highs. Nasdaq's pushing up. Look at the Nasdaq surge. The Nasdaq is still running some here. Up to 24.9s. Maybe it wants 25s. Yeah, the White House is calling for clean government funding bill. Apparently. Looking at other news. Bank of England's Ramsden says food prices could generate second round effects. Elliott explores strategic options for Britain-based data center firm ARC. Yeah, I'm gonna put the Nasdaq up here. Not actual funded account, I think. Okay. And Nasdaq starting to push. Yeah, again, that's a challenge account in the other one. Look at the Nasdaq bump up. This is mostly Nvidia, I think. Nvidia back over 180s. Apple at 225s. Yeah, on a challenge account. I'm in gold long, yes, but it's a challenge account. So basically, if I fail, it's not the other one. When I get resets, I'm kind of like, oh, let me play with this. And I try longer term trades. Yeah, so if House and Senate leaders schedule a vote on continuing resolution or a full budget and it passes, we'll know tomorrow. Tomorrow evening, by late tomorrow, if no deal is cleared both chambers and reached the White House, it's effectively locked in. But markets are going to price it in early, and then as of 12:01 p.m. Wednesday morning, that's when we'll officially be shut down if we don't get a deal done. So, certainty point is Tuesday night, tomorrow night. Yeah, I mean, this is a challenge account though on gold, so like I can take a little bit longer term risk, and if I fail, it's not the world. It's not a funded account. We're just kind of throwing it out there on the pullback, see if we get a bounce. Today on government shutdown worries. Okay, we'll be right now. Love you. Oh, I must have accidentally bumped my mic. Sorry, what I was saying is that crashes are rare. And most of the time they don't happen. Is what I was saying. Sorry, I must have accidentally bumped my mic. But yeah, crashes are rare. Most of the time they don't happen. And I think you have to look at them like that. People overpredict crashes pretty regularly. And so I think you have to look at them skeptically. But sometimes they will happen. I'm not saying they're not going to happen recently. But yeah. I know my mic was muted, guys. I appreciate it. Sorry. I must have bumped it. How long was I muted for? Alright, gold's edging higher here. Still in the gold trade. Again, we're up 100, 150 right now or so still. Okay, yeah, we're good. Alright, so the U.S. is expanding Commerce Department entity list to automatically include subsidiaries of companies on the restricted trade list. The crash is considered 25%. Usually is like, I would say mostly 20-25%. What do you guys consider a crash? I would say a very quick pullback of at least 20 to 25%. And then if that counts, then technically we crashed in April. Now, whether you consider April a crash is subjective. Do you guys consider April of this year a crash? Or just like a big correction? I mean, the NASDAQ dropped 26%. So in terms of that 25% number, I think a lot of people would consider that a crash. I considered it a crash when it happened. No, not in a day. I would say over like a week plus period. You know, it just depends. Yeah, 7% of the time we have a strong downturn. 75% of the time we're going up. Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's what I try to tell people is that, look, most of the time, the market's not going to crash. And if you always bet on crashes, a lot of it is, I've said it before, a lot of it is confirmation bias. Like if you miss out on some of these big runs, the NASDAQ, S&P have made, it might be kind of a pleasant thought to think that you didn't really miss out on anything because we're going to correct anyway, right? The problem is like people hold out for so long. And again, let's say if the NASDAQ does like this, right? And let's say even if you call a crash, let's say you called a crash right here, right? Even if we do pull back, you still would have been green, you know, a lot of the time. And so, and especially when you consider the longer term movement, this was a good buy in that situation. But people just hold out for so long for crashes and, you know, I get it. People were worried about losing money. 2022 was a bear market, I would say, William. Right? Let's see. 2022? Yeah, I think this is just a bear market. You could call it a crash. It was definitely a red year, you know? Which, again, happens. Sometimes we get red years. Yeah, I mean, again, I had somebody, I can't remember who it was, tell me that we would drop 80% in the SPY. And they said this, I think it was around when the SPY was, I want to say when the SPY was at like 500, they said this, you know. Might have been 600. But 80% drop, and I did the math, and I was like, look. We'll just get the exact number, 661 times 0.2%. You're basically saying the SPY is going to hit $132, and I just don't think that's going to happen. Maybe it does. I really don't know. But I don't think we're going to get 80% crashes. If we drop down to $130 in the SPY, I'm buying it. That's all I'm saying. See if the Nasdaq might want 25K. It's right at 24.9s. Is Buffett smart? Buffett was smart, and maybe he's still smart. I don't know. He's 96 right now. Maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, we hit $130 on the SPY. I'm buying. I'm going big. You know, it depends on how long it lasts, but yeah. Yeah, no, I heard him speak. He's speaking pretty well for 96. But at the same time, I understand when, like, again, I promise you they're not letting Warren Buffett make any major decisions at Burke right now. He's 96, guys. Like, let's be honest here for a second. I'd like to believe he is, and he's still pushing at 96, but like we all know, multi-billion-dollar company, they're not letting old 96-year-old Warren Buffett make big business decisions. Outside of succession decisions, you know. But Buffett is a genius. He made that margarita song. Yeah. All right, look at the Nasdaq dip right here. That 910 level, top 3 greatest level ever here. Look at this. Why not? He might still have it. He maybe he does. It's about risk reward. All right, Nasdaq dipping down here. Let me see if there's any news. I don't see anything. I see the SEC issues notice that it plans to allow dimensional fund advisors to add ETFs to mutual funds. The president spoke. He said imposing 100% tariff on foreign-made movies. 100% tariff on foreign-made movies. Whatever it is, make it SPY gold for me. He said our movie-making business has been stolen by other countries. The problem is that I know about this. So the problem is that it's so expensive to film in California that you can almost go anywhere else in the country or the world and have cheaper filming than California. Like, it's noticeably cheaper to fly everybody to, I think they go to like Budapest and other places to film things versus filming it in Cali. And this is true, right? Like, most movies are not getting filmed in Cali, and so Hollywood's struggling a little bit from that aspect of it, as well as the dynamic of movies changing overall. And so again, look, the president just said California has been hard hit. Therefore, in order to solve this long-time, never-ending problem, I will be imposing 100% tariff on any and all movies that are made outside of the U.S. Yeah, I mean, people are still going to film movies here, but they're going to fly to other states to film them now, if that makes sense. Yeah, but in this context, he's actually trying to help California, I think. Right? Like, again, I don't agree with everything he does. I certainly don't root for either side here politically. But independent of anything the president says, people don't like filming movies in California nearly as much as they used to because it's so expensive to film there. They usually fly to other places in the United States and elsewhere to film movies now. So I don't know what this tariff is going to do necessarily. I don't know if it's going to you know, I think we're going to start to see more movies produced in the US, but just not in California now. Yeah, so 100% tariff on all movies made outside the US. He just announced that. Alright guys, so there's 9 a.m. We just hit 9 a.m. Let's see if markets move now. Yeah, we're now still green in our gold trade. Gold spiking up a little bit here. I'm still looking to see if he's speaking or saying anything else. Talking about New York a little bit. Yeah, you know more than the billionaire TV 2-star. Yeah, I'm not saying I know more than him at all. He's probably got way more information than me. I'm just saying. I'm just covering the news. I think I do a good job of staying pretty non-political here. Like, I'm not really super partisan in either way. If I agree with something, I'll say it. If I disagree, I'll say it. You know? Oh, not me? Okay. Oh, y'all are arguing about politics again. Listen, I want both of you guys to say something nice about the other one. All right, both you guys. I want you to sit there and reflect and say something nice about the other one. Okay. Yeah. Sit in a corner and think about what you've done. All right. Nvidia pushing up. Nvidia's trying to make Nvidia's trying to break highs here again. Got up to 180.20s here. Gold's coming back down. I scaled out of some of it though, but that's all right. AbbVie is gonna launch Ella here in the UK. I would say I'm not very partisan. Partisan means strong supporter of like one specific side. I'm not really that. I think I'm pretty neutral. I don't like the whole realm of politics. Look at the NASDAQ pull back here. I don't really see any big reason for it though. Could just be technical moves. Apple just went red or green on the day. Look at Apple. Apple technically green at 255.60s. Open doors just kind of a pump. Like a lot of traders are getting involved with it. It's volatile though. Went almost 11, back down to 7. Now it's back up to 880s. Is it higher than that? Yeah, it's 870s. It's just so hard to capitalize on, I think, for me. All right, let's see if the NASDAQ bounces right here. I'm curious about buying the dip. Looking at our numbers, do you guys think we'll get a deal done and avoid a government shutdown? Almost 60% of people think yes on the polling options here. Yeah, I've been on a movie kick with my daughter. We've been watching Scorsese. We watched The Departed. We watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood the other day. That was pretty good. We had to kind of give her the history of everything for her to understand. But yeah, it was good. New movies, there's just not as many. Like, there's a couple good movies a year that come out. It's a little sad because I used to love going to a movie theater and watching a movie, but now there's not really as many good movies to see. So. So will we get a shutdown this week, guys? Again, the deadline's tomorrow. All right, so the president just tweeted again on social media, apparently. He said, quote, "In order to make North Carolina, which has completely lost its furniture business to China and other countries, great again, I will be imposing substantial tariffs on any country that does not make its furniture in the U.S. Details to follow," end quote. Yeah, so we're actually up really nicely in our trade. We are up about... show you. In terms of like net positions here, we are up about $500, give or take. So we got 2 left. We'll see if this rebound continues. But just showing you guys this one for now. Which is the best movie? Yeah, I want to see one battle after another. I really do. I can't. It's hard to get anybody to go with me, though. You know? Like, I live... Like, my daughter's 16. My wife only likes comedies. And so, like, my wife will... Like, if we let my wife pick a movie, she's going to pick, like, an Adam Sandler movie. You know? And I love Adam Sandler. Don't get me wrong. Movies. But... sometimes I want to watch... Like, my son and I are watching The Accountant, which is a great movie. Loved it. But that's a movie, one battle after another. That's a movie where I have a hard time finding somebody that'll go with me to that movie. You know? Yeah, I think the chances of a shutdown this time are much higher. Much higher. The shutdown chances are noticeably higher now. And I think they're about 80%. So. When I said buy IKEA, isn't that a Swiss company? Isn't IKEA Swiss? Yeah, they don't manufacture here. I mean, they manufacture a little bit here, but it's mostly in China, Poland, and Sweden. Swedish, yeah, sorry. All right, guys, so look at Nvidia. Nvidia up to 180s. We're still in gold. Apple now green. Nvidia now green. All right, gold's still high here. I don't know what I want to do with this. I think I'm just going to let the last two contracts sit here. I think we had a pullback and then we had a slower sideways retracement. And so I want to give it time to rebound back up, but I don't know. We're up on the day. You can see our trades. We're like 4 something up. You know. I want to be patient. See if this rebounds more. It is. Good. Yeah, Intel's down a little bit today. That's all right. Trying to be patient with this. I want to see if gold rebounds even more. I'm going to take one off here, though, just to protect and lock it in. Got a pretty big cushion on this one on the day. All right, guys, we got 20 minutes until the market opens. Here's the 200 exponential right here at 38.47s. 38.47s. We're watching that. Yeah, but the president on Truth Social said he will impose substantial tariffs on countries not making their furniture in the U.S., citing North Carolina's loss of business and others. Again, Netflix is down. One of the negative effects of this is Netflix. Down to 11.95s. Hammock also said they expect firms to pass on more of tariffs. Since that tariffs passed through is less than expected. Maybe I'll add more to this gold position, but Netflix is down. In the past, somebody's asking how will crypto react to Shutdown if we get one. In past, which like crypto wasn't as big as it is today, so you gotta like understand. We can try to look at the history of it and see how crypto might respond, but we don't know. A lot of the time, if we shut down, stocks fall and volatility spikes, and crypto can sell off as well, since it still trades like a risk asset tied to liquidity. But we could also get like a distrust in government play where Bitcoin rises. We've seen that dynamic before, especially in terms of like bank weakness can make crypto go up. But we could have also delays in like ETF approvals, enforcement actions, policy updates, economic reports. So it could go either way, but alright guys, let's see what the market brings us in 15 minutes. Alright. I mean, we're in gold right now, long. Here's the NASDAQ. Netflix again down. They're going to be widely affected by this. So is furniture stores, some people are saying. Most of them do not make stuff here in the US. Gold broke all-time highs multiple times. Its new all-time highs are 3860.6, at least in gold futures. Yeah, so we're already locked in over $400 in profit here. I think I'm gonna add a piece to this back. See if we continue to rise. Get a little bit more from this. Hold the rest break even if we need to. Yeah, we're in the green. We're up 400 plus. If we get over that 200 exponential for gold, we start climbing. We're up about 500 now, a little bit over 5 actually. We got 14 minutes until the opening bell, so we'll give it time. Yeah, I mean, we're going to get a deal done eventually. The shutdown is going to push back economic reports. It's the biggest influence that the government shutdown is going to be. So, even if we shut down for just a day, it's going to push back the non-farm payroll report on Friday and probably. Alright, we're still pushing up here. I want to give it time though. I'll probably cut this before the open. I don't really want to play the open. Maybe we'll find something to do here. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it. I think I wanted to hold it longer, but I think this is fine and we'll reassess. We're over $500 in profit realized now, so we'll reassess closer to the bell. After the bell, I mean. Here's the NASDAQ. NASDAQ's chopping sideways. Yeah, I mean, look, in terms of what the president is doing, and again, I'm not very partisan on any of this. I'm pretty non-partisan on all this stuff. I'm not really a big pusher of either side. I understand what he's doing. He's trying to rebuild U.S. stuff, right? And again, in California specifically, but the real issue is that it's still not going to help California that much. Why is it not going to help California that much? It's because people are still going to leave California to go elsewhere in the country to make moves. They don't want to make them in Cali. This is a dynamic we've seen increase a lot. People, like most of the time, they fly people. They like fly the actors out to other states. They'll even fly them to New York versus California. And so just because it's so expensive to film there. And now this dynamic might, because of that, benefit the country more. It's not really going to benefit California more, I think, necessarily, because I still think they're going to not do it in Cali. There's cheaper places across the country. But in you know, he's trying to rebuild U.S. film, and I'm okay with that. As a big movie lover, I'm okay with that. Now, I think the short-term effect of it is going to be prices increasing, because it's just frankly more expensive to film here. Regardless of which state you're in, it's still more expensive to film here than others. But we'll see. I'm not necessarily opposed to this as much. It just depends. Like, it could go really right, or it could go really wrong. You know, and so we'll see. Alright, so Instagram is testing new Reels first UI in India and South Korea. Short videos are going to get more prominence in app. Move signals Meta's push to boost engagement amid rivals. TT. Look how flat the NASDAQ is right now. Look at this. Tomorrow will be an interesting day. We got the JOLTS report. We got the government shutdown deadline. And so tomorrow will be interesting. Yeah, and you guys, you know, you want to be careful that you're not one of those people that just blindly disagrees to either side of the political spectrum. Right? Again, I'll say, like, some of the things he does I agree with, other things he does I disagree with. Right? But again, if you act like you root 100% with either side, you're either desperate to fit in or you're lying. You know? I would say most reasonable people are somewhere in the middle. Somewhere, you know? Now, where you consider the middle is different, maybe subjective, but yeah, I just try to stay out of it. If I agree with it, I'll tell you. If I disagree with it, I'll tell you. Gold's still pushing up. Maybe I should have held, but I think we're close enough to the opening bell in 7 minutes, 8 minutes that I'm not really trying to do that. Yeah, Netflix is going to be affected negatively from this for sure. If you look at Netflix, I mean, they're back up some. They filled some of this gap. They're at $1,200. I think Netflix is resilient, but I think they'll be all right. Yeah, get rid of income tax. I'm for it, dude. Get rid of personal. Get rid of property taxes. Bump up sales tax, get rid of income and property taxes. Okay with that. That way the tax is only spent on. But I'm selfish. I hate taxes, and so of course I'm selfish that way. Yeah, the furniture one's going to negatively affect things for sure. The infrastructure there is just too built. Movie industry's already struggling, so I mean, I don't know. No, trust me, I understand we pay too much taxes. I don't need to rant about taxes. You guys have heard me rant. We get triple taxed. We get income, sales, and property taxes. Property taxes are the most ridiculous tax. It's the hardest to justify. In my opinion, property tax is just ridiculous. Every year you got to pay freaking multiple percents of your property just to keep the property. It's wild. You know, it's wild. But I don't want to pay any taxes personally. But I understand some like taxes are used for good. But yeah, I'm not really happy about it either way though. Nobody is. You know. All right, guys, we got 6 minutes left until the market opens. Let's see what we get. Honestly, I'm green on the day. We'll see if it holds. I'll do my weekly property tax calculation just so you can understand how ridiculous property taxes are. For those that might not, if you have a $600,000 property, and let's say you're in Texas, which has super expensive property tax, let's say they tax you at 2.5%. Right? That means every single year to keep this property, or they'll take it, you have to pay $15,000 a year just to keep that property. Ridiculous. Hey, thank you, Stone Bunny. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, there's no state income tax, so I mean, but it basically penalizes landowners. All right, anyways, NASDAQ's breaking down. We're at 885s right now, 885s, 887s. Gold had this big rebound and back up over 3850s. It's kind of sitting there now. Again, a lot of the fears right now are government shutdown fears. Yeah, mine wasn't cheap either. All the properties, you know, I'm not really happy about it. Bro, I gotta move to Kentucky, bro. 396? Yeah, I know I'm from Louisiana. Now, it's harder to justify living in Louisiana, but I think Louisiana has it at like 1% or something like that. And so, you got $1 million property in Louisiana. You know, it's gonna be $10,000, which is pretty reasonable. Can't remember what Louisiana is. I know Texas is 2.4, 2.2. Some places it's 1.7. You know. All right, Nasdaq's starting to flush a little bit here, heading into the bell in 4 minutes. We are seeing a flush in the Nasdaq. It's bouncing at 879s, 880s here. But we got some confirmation right here, but holds. Apple's still technically green. Netflix is bouncing back a little bit here. Nvidia did pull back though. And I think some of this drop is, if you look at Nvidia here, they originally negatively reacted about a minute ago. Still at 180s. I think it wants to hold at 180s. We also have Meta's up on the day. Microsoft is pulling back some, falling. Will there be a Swan event from the shutdown? I don't know. Generally we get a deal done, but I think this time is less likely. I think we got like a 20% chance of getting a deal done before the deadline tomorrow, which is not nothing. 20% is 20%. But look at this drop right now. Look at the Nasdaq fall. Apple falling. Oh, look at this drop. Could be the market on open. Look at this flush. All right, guys. Here's the opening bell. We got 2 minutes. Look at the Nasdaq fall on the market on open. Must have been big sell side, maybe. What I'm assuming here. MOO. Yeah, I mean, this drop is not really anything. Nvidia's bouncing back here. I'm trying to see what stock is falling. I think it's Microsoft. Could be, it's Google, actually. All right, guys, we got less than a minute. Still dropping here to 850s. Look at the Nasdaq fall. Getting into the opening bell here, guys. Right, here we go. Nvidia tested highs up there at 180.45 in pre-market and broke it just now. We got 20 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. You'll catch up to the stream. I don't think this drop is that big. Yeah, we'll see. Listen, maybe we do have some big correction ahead of the shutdown. I don't know. Yeah, hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. There's the opening bell. See what we get. Markets have certainly been red leading into the open. Nasdaq has bounced back about half of the way though already. Now it's retracing back down. There's the big buy push coming in at the open. We filled about half of the gap on the downside already. Could have been the market on open just being really weak. Look at Nvidia run right now. Look at Nvidia. Nvidia up to 181.50s just now. This could be the news around Pulse. OpenAI's new Pulse feature shows Pulse will deliver a personalized daily digest predicting what you want that day. Look at Nvidia. Apple falling. Microsoft is said to introduce agent mode in Office Agent in Microsoft 365. Nasdaq's getting bought up. Nvidia up to 182s. Gold pulling back some now. An interesting market right now. We ended up buying gold just now, short term. I will slowly scale out of this if I can. Try to hold the rest break even or so. Apple and Nvidia getting balled up here. There we go. I'm gonna take another piece off. We're just so close to the opening bell here, but yeah, we're up about 6. Big bouncing gold. I'm gonna go ahead and take it off right there at the top. Yeah, we're up almost exactly 6 here on this one. Nvidia's driving this though, if it holds this momentum. All right, so China's Commerce Ministry urges U.S. to correct wrong practice. Opposes U.S. export control measures. Where's Netflix at? Nvidia's been running this morning, almost all-time highs for Nvidia. Netflix is down. Gold is up. So I'm gonna put the Nasdaq back up here. Kind of refill this gap all the way back up. Yeah, China's certainly going to be affected by the furniture tariffs because if you got to think about how much of that is made over there, it's a lot. It's a big percentage. And so they're not going to be happy about these. All right, big dip now. All right, so we're going up a little bit. All right, we're starting to flatten out a little bit. Apple's still breaking down. It's at 250s. We saw some bearish updates on Apple. People skeptical of U.S. sales, or people fearful of worse U.S. sales for iPhone 17 Plus or 17 Pro or whatever it was. I might buy this. One small position here, though. We'll add to it over time. Pulls back some more. That right here. It looks weak here, though, but I want to give it a second. Got bought up. Looks like it's coming back down, though, here. Green. Go. I don't like that. It came back down. I'm going to cut it. It might have just faked me out, but I don't think it's worth the risk. We're just chopping back and forth too much. Still up about 600 on the day. Yeah, I heard people skeptical of the new iPhone. Essentially, they say that the new iPhone sales are not doing good here in the US. Good in China, bad in the US is what I heard. Yeah, maybe I cut it too early. Again, we're still so close to the bell, and we're such back and forth right now. Nvidia's pushing up, though. Like, one of the things dragging the market up is Nvidia at the 183s. You see this move since the opening bell right here. It's just pushed up a lot. Again, government shutdown news is still pretty front and center for everything. All right, guys. Also, remember, check out TopStep. Great way to help support the channel. I only have one sponsor, and I plug it, I would say a reasonable amount of time. So if you haven't already, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We appreciate it. I'll put the link up. Great way to help support the channel. There's no PDT in futures. Get you around the PDT rule. Great way to learn. Most day traders lose, so you can risk 50 bucks learning with some risk and learning how to trade with some risk, or you can risk thousands, which makes no sense. Most day traders lose their first couple accounts anyway, and so it doesn't make much sense to just fund your own account trying to look cool in markets. Instead, limit your risk, learn this way. And I'll put the link up. Great way to help support the channel. There's the link right there. Again, they're a sponsor of mine. I'm biased. I get paid by them. Understand all this stuff on screen. Not an investment professional. Always make your own assessment. Trade smart. Can't guarantee anything. And Nasdaq started to turn back down a little bit here. Nvidia's pulling back some as well. Struggling to get over this 885 and hold. Gold's still pushing up though. I don't know. I'm a Samsung person. I don't really use Apple. Man, we're so sideways this morning, guys. I mean, we had big moves at the open and then a big gap fill kind of thing where we filled the big red that we had right before the open. And now we're just sideways here. We got a range, though. Maybe we can wait for this range to break. See? You guys red or green so far today? Let me know. Stagflation. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people argue we're in stagflation. The problem with the government shutdown, I'll say it again, is that if we get the government shutdown, even if it's just for a day or two, it's going to push back the labor report on Friday. If it's a longer term shutdown, it's going to push back the labor report, Fed minutes report, CPI inflation report. And, yeah. So, I hope we don't shut down just because of that, but it's looking pretty likely, I think, at this point. Nice. Hey, if you guys are green, good job. Where's Bitcoin? Google actually going up a little bit right now. It's at 249.50 right now for Google. Bitcoin up a little bit on the day as well at 113s. So that's good. If Nvidia bounces right here, maybe we get a bigger bounce. Nasdaq. Want to play a put on Netflix? Yeah, but dropping Netflix from this news already happened. I still think Netflix as a huge company is going to do fine long term. Maybe a short. I don't know what you want to do in terms of a put on Netflix. Just be careful. Gold. Gold is benefiting from this. Gold's pushing up close to all-time highs. Let's see if gold holds. But gold's had a little run here. I don't think we have any big economic data. I think we have what? Home sales? Pending home sales. Last time was 0.4% at 10 a.m. We'll see what that looks like. Gold's so close to all-time highs again. Nasdaq's starting to break out of this range, but we get a pullback. I might long, but I don't necessarily like it here. All right, Nasdaq's about to break highs of the day on the upside. There it goes, just broke highs of the day. Nvidia ripped up, broke highs as well at 183.50. Maybe I should have gone long. Gotta wait. Gold's very close to all-time highs as well. A lot of tech stocks are starting to run back up here too. I'll buy this pullback here. I think that's a big pullback. Maybe we'll head back up and retest. There we go. I took half off there. Add a little bit more down here again. Just 3. There we go. Take another piece off up there. That high break again. There we go. I cut it right there at my level. So yeah, we're well over $600. Good. The only John Jones White House match would be Tom Aspinall, and I don't think Jones is going to fight him. I wouldn't want to fight him either, you know. Just being honest, if I had an unbeaten record and I was older, I don't want to fight Tom. Yeah. All right, Nasdaq's running up. We're at 920s right now, 920s. It looks like the Nasdaq maybe wants to test 25. Nvidia just broke highs again, almost up to 184. I think people are pricing in Nvidia breaking in all-time highs is I think what this push is. So Nvidia all-time highs, remember, are 184.55s. Nvidia's at 184s basically right now, 183.70s. So all-time highs on Nvidia are right here. And so I think this is what markets are pricing in. Markets assume that Nvidia being so close to all-time highs is going to at least test it, and I think that's dragging a lot of tech stocks up. Is that sympathy movement Nvidia. I mean, we also got a big rebound in Netflix. We got a big rebound in Google. Microsoft back up, testing greens on the day, holding. So NASDAQ pushing. All right, Nvidia tapped 184. It's now dipping down some. New York Fed Deputy Market Operations Chief Ramachi says banking sector reserves still remain abundant and expects to see more pressure on repo rates going forward. Yeah, let's see if Nvidia gets up there and breaks 184.55. It's close. Yeah, Bitcoin flying up to 114s right now. Look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin making moves. This is Bitcoin futures, just to fucking watch both. But NASDAQ breaking highs of the day again. I think it's pricing in Nvidia here. Wanting all-time highs. Nvidia at 184s right now. All-time highs on Nvidia are 184.55. I think that's what the markets are moving towards. All right, guys, we got pending home sales at 10 a.m. We're going to cover that. John, why don't you hold trades longer? Well, I think it's easy to say that after we make this big run, right? I mean, we're up 600 plus on this account, but, you know, easiest way to say it is it's less risk. Yeah. I think they said the president said something about cannabis. It's pushing Tilray higher. I heard that this morning. Somebody said that. Bitcoin breaking highs again of the day at 114.320s. Bitcoin on a nice push back. Watching this 950 level above us, though. It really, I think, for the market to break higher and higher, it needs Nvidia to break all-time highs right here. This is all-time highs on Nvidia. I think it needs Nvidia to make another push, or it's gonna pull back a little bit here. Maybe not. I don't know. The VIX and Q both positive. Yeah, VIX is kind of positive. It's still, the VIX is still pretty low though. All right, gold with a hefty pullback here. See if that holds. How large this pullback in gold is. Short term. Gold dip. So we bought the dip in gold up here. I'll show you while I can. Sell a little bit more into this. A little bit more. We got one left. We're up about 700 on the day now, which is nice. Let's see if we can ride this bouncing gold. I think I'm gonna cut it right there. Go back to the NASDAQ. NASDAQ just tapped 950s. Watching Nvidia, man. I think Nvidia wants all-time highs. Who knows if it'll hit it though. Here's the big question of the day. Was Jim Cramer correct about his buy Bitcoin thesis? Long term, I think he is, but short term, I'm joking, but look at that 950 level hold, man. I gotta trust my levels sometimes. I think it wants 25,000. The closer we get to 25K, the more the market wants it. Now, sometimes we'll get big squeezes down in anticipation of all-time highs, and I think all-time highs are actually a little bit over 25K here in the NASDAQ. All-time highs in the NQ, it's slightly over 25, right? It is 25.27 and 25 cents. And again, we're also seeing Nvidia kind of dip down here a little bit. So sometimes we get close and we have these big pushes. Robinhood approaching all-time highs. Robinhood's ripping up too. So will this be another rip up for Nvidia? Remember, this is the all-time high on Nvidia right here. This big green line. All right, we do have pending home sales in 10 minutes. We'll cover that, but Nvidia looks like it's making another push here. Nvidia's back up to 183.30s. It doesn't mean it's going to continue. If Nvidia comes back down and starts downtrending, it could pull stuff back, but my NASDAQ just broke highs again. 953s. 25K is right here. Dollar index today. Dollar index is down. 6 minutes left. Yeah, I mean 2%, like, not the biggest move. The big problem is people are like, oh, we haven't had 2 red days in a row, and using that, they think that we can't have 2 red days in a row. Of course we can. 2 red days in a row is pretty standard in markets. Sometimes you're gonna have big sell-offs, sometimes you're gonna have big rebounds. You just gotta understand the variance in short term. Nobody freaking knows what's gonna happen today, tomorrow, the next day. Big money, small money, they don't really know. Big money might have a little bit more of a clue than we do, but you know, nobody knows. The variance is so high with any type of short-term move in markets. Long-term is a little bit more predictable and easier to predict and make money on for sure. Short-term, you don't know what the heck's going to happen. In hindsight, it's 2020. So it's easy to look at it after the fact and say, oh, well, this happened, but nobody knows. It's still rejecting at 950s here. We got pending home sales in 4 minutes. We'll see what it looks like there. It's not the biggest release, but we will cover it. We got the JOLTS job report tomorrow too. Be ready for that. All right, guys. So we are very close to hitting home sales in about 3 minutes. I don't think they're gonna move things. Maybe we'll see some type of look at this. But Nasdaq's kind of chopping around highs. I think a lot of people are waiting to see if Nvidia bounces back. We got the shutdown news tomorrow. Yeah, we'll see. All right, guys, here we go. We got 2 minutes. Again, pending home sales today expected. Where is it at? I got it somewhere. There it is. Pending home sales today expected at 0.2%. Last time it was a negative 0.4%. 0.2%. Last time it was negative 0.4%. So we're pretty green. Oh, of course, futures, any type of day trading is harder than long-term trading. I mean, this is objectively true. Anybody that pretends like day trading is easier than long-term investing is probably just trying to sell you something. All right, guys, yeah, so again, pending home sales dropping right in 1 minute. Hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on the stream. We appreciate it. But yeah. Yeah, we got the JOLTS job report today or tomorrow at 10 a.m. It'll be before the shutdown effectively happens. All right, here we go. And the report's in about 30 seconds here, chat. 30 seconds. Tomorrow is actually the last day of the month here, so just be ready. All right, we got about 15 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream. Again, it's expected at negative at 0.2% positive. I don't think it's going to affect markets, but we will cover it anyway. Yeah, yields are actually down a little bit. All right, here we go. And here's the report. 4% for pending home sales. Pending home sales showed up at 4% versus 0.2% expected. Much stronger pending home sales than expected here. 0.2% expected. Last time was a negative 0.3%. This time was 4%. Also, I think revised the last one down a little bit. So let's see if this causes a positive effect. Again, pending home sales showed up at 4% versus 0.2% expected here. 4% versus 0.2%. I'll put this data up on screen, or in the chat at least. Yeah, pending home sales index 74.7. Previously was 71.7. So stronger pending home sales than expected. Nasdaq originally reacted positively to it. Gold spiked up a little bit here as well, but yeah, we will see. All right, guys. And again, stick around. Again, if you want to check out Top Step, great way to help support the channel. No PDT rule in futures. You can day trade the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell, Gold. Very similar to day trading equities. No PDT rule. Get you around the PDT rule. If you pass Top Step's test, you get a 90% split in your first 10K prior to that split kicking in profit. If you fail, you lose $50. It's the best of both worlds. Limited risk, similar reward. They're back to funded option. That's nice. I'll put the link up one more time. And then again, as soon as we close this stream, as soon as we close down, it's going to bring you to our tomorrow stream. You want to watch tomorrow's stream because of the government shutdown news. Markets might be a little volatile tomorrow leading into this. And again, if we do shut down, the labor report that's supposed to drop on Friday gets pushed back. So again, I expect you all to sit there and wait. Pending home sales showed up at 4% versus 0.2% expected. I expect you all to sit there and wait until tomorrow. I appreciate the love. Thanks so much. Remember, understand all this stuff on screen. I can't guarantee anything. I'm not an investment professional. Not liable if you lose money. And yeah, y'all have a great day. Again, wait at the next stream until tomorrow. I expect that. I'll see you guys later.